Is it really that hard to go back and play older games? Why are we so obsessed with shiny new graphics, to the point where it's the determining factor in people playing video games? My theory is that it has more to do with hype and recency bias than with the look of the game itself. However, this video won't be focused on remakes as a whole. This is first and foremost a celebration of Persona 4. But to get the formalities out of the way, today I'll be speaking about Persona 4 Golden and why it doesn't need a remake, with the addition of speaking a little bit about remakes themselves and the negative sides of the age of remakes. So, let's begin. To start off with the remakes, we've been obsessed with them these last few years. I'll just name a few that we got. Call of Duty Modern Warfare games, Demon's Souls Remaster, Final Fantasy VII and Rebirth, Spider-Man Remaster which released on PC, Resident Evil 2, 3 and 4, SMT 3 Nocturne Remaster, the plethora of Last of Us remasters, Life is Strange Remaster, System Shock 1 and 2, Dead Space, Like a Dragon Ishin, Silent Hill 2, Persona 3 Reload and Dead Rising are only a few of them. Just looking at this year, we have the Oblivion Remaster and MGS Delta. And I didn't even include older IPs suddenly getting a new game, which only aimed to make a few bucks using its name as bait. I'm honestly amazed how little people care about franchises, or even how little they care that most remasters are being sold at the price of a full game, even though they don't have to do all the work which gets put in a completely new title. You know, like writing the story and the characters. Not to mention that most of them don't even offer any improvements that go beyond what is expected, improved graphical fidelity. And people don't care. Many of these games even had nominations and awards on Game Awards, or at least sold very well. Although it's true that most of video game industry seems to have lost its creativity, it's the average gamer which helps them get away with it by financing them. Companies are making a lot of money off of these titles while putting in questionable amounts of work, and no one is complaining, so why even stop? I'm not saying that all remasters are bad. I quite enjoyed the Resident Evil 2 and 4 remasters, and will be making a review of MGS Delta when it comes out. However, it just seems that if one takes a look at the whole video game market, the only AAA titles worth your while are remasters, while every other new title just fails or has a momentary spur of popularity and then escapes everyone's memory. We're missing good, new games. Ones that will be considered classics once it's all said and done. Out of all the newer games I've played, the last one I could consider that would be Elden Ring, and it's been over 3 years since that game came out. And I don't even know if I could consider it a classic since it's so similar to Dark Souls 3, but I digress. The point is that ATLUS has the same problem as the rest of the industry, and it's been almost a decade since we had a completely new release in Persona 5. People have been eager for Persona 6 for years now. But we've heard nothing about it, and what we got was a gacha game and a few remakes. My first point to why Persona 4 doesn't need a remake is to look at the remake of Persona 3. I've already pointed out why I don't think it does a very good job as a remake, and you can hear more about the reasons why in this video. And if you want to hear my thoughts and concerns about revival, watch this video. But for those who just want a short recap, Reload completely throws away the original art style and tone of the game to make the game feel more like the golden child of the series, Persona 5, while failing to deliver any significant change, which is especially bad since Persona 3 has an identity crisis, as it doesn't have any single game that truly defines it as an experience. Persona 3 and Persona 4 aren't in the same position. Persona 3 needed a remake which would make that game the definitive version of Persona 3. Its new identity. Ideally, this would have been done by incorporating the FMC route into the game, while keeping the tone and style of the original, which of course isn't what we got. And here we come to the point, and that is that Persona 4 doesn't need a remake. Persona 4 Golden is the definitive, complete way to play the game. It isn't perfect, but then again what is? Even though some controversial changes were made from the PS2 version to Golden, it doesn't have an identity crisis. The majority of the fans would agree that Golden is the definitive way to play the game. There really isn't much a remake could hope to improve on. The game has a strong sense of style which could far easier be trampled over by the new P5 style which made its way into Reload than improved in any way. One thing shown in the trailer is that you can move your camera, which honestly I don't want at all. as the fixed camera in most areas in the real world is an essential part of the style of Golden. The style of Golden is the style of the 2000s, shown not only by the music and the UI, but by how the game looks. Its graphics are equally or even more important to its style than its other elements, so by changing them even for the better, you compromise that style. In my Bloodborne video, which you can see here, I talked about the importance of art style over pure graphical fidelity, so if that piqued your interest, feel free to watch it. But to get back to the video, my second point is the possibility of a remaster ruining the experience of the original. Remakes tend to not care that much about the original, especially about the finer details. If we take what Reload showed us as an example, dungeon crawling experience is also at risk. In previous videos I've mentioned how Persona 5's combat is the new standard of the series, which made combat easier beyond all reason, and faster, so that our minuscule attention spans don't get bored, and open. With the layouts of floors being so open in Reload, you don't have to fight a single enemy to get to the end of the floor. You can simply bypass most of them. Persona 4's dungeon design, on the other hand, is simple but brilliant. If the shadows are a higher level than you, there is no way you can simply bypass them as they are bigger and faster, while the floors are long stretches of corridors. If the shadows are a lower level than you, they are smaller and slower, and you can just bypass them if you're not interested in possible rewards from battles. It's a great and easy way to balance the game, making sure that you're at least at a certain level before you fight the boss, and giving you the possibility to just bypass the enemies if you're a higher level than them. It's little things like this, simple details which no one would bat an eye on, yet impact the experience in significant ways that could be replaced in the remake. A good remake is a caring remake. A remake that cares about the original and wants to honor it, not just by having the same title. A great remake goes beyond just honoring the original and improves upon it, but these are really rare. In a previous video I showed some examples of how ATLUS could improve Persona 4, but I seriously doubt we'll see any significant improvements in the remake. Only time will tell if Persona 4 Revival will be a good remake, but as of now you have every right to be a skeptic about it. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Don't give into the mindless hype, as you might leave with only your disappointment. But in the meantime, please play Persona 4 Golden and even Persona 3 Portable if you haven't. You won't regret it. And if you found this video enjoyable, check out my other videos. But until next time.